During the pandemic, I had a really hard time personally. I lost a family member due to COVID, and so it was also like super tough to go through that experience, but also seeing the work that the Elite Initiative was doing during that time was really inspiring. They were one of the first groups that I saw work so hard to give relief to restaurant workers who were out of jobs. And so when I learned about the program and learned that it was going nationwide, I was like, I have to do this. I really believe in the work that they're doing, and if I have an opportunity to potentially be connected and a part of this organization, I just have to try. And so I'm super thankful that it ended up working out and I became part of this program.
So when I actually got into the program, complete flabbergast. I started crying on the middle of the street. Somebody was like, "Are you okay?" And I was just like, "It's fantastic, it's great."
When they called me, I cried. I called my dad and I cried. I cried, he cried, we were both crying on the phone, and I was just like, "Dad, it's happening."
I just walked back in the kitchen and I looked at my chef and I said, I got it. And he gave me a huge hug and he's like, "Okay, now let's go, make food."
I've actually gotten to do the private select barrel with Maker's Mark 6 times now. So doing it with Lee Initiative was really cool. It was my second time being in the room to do a barrel select specifically with Maker's Mark with a group of all women.
Thomas from Maker's Mark really captivated us and taught us about it, because I'm not a bourbon drinker. He taught us made it very like cooking, there's these flavors, this is tobacco a little bit. I'm like, whoa, it tastes like a cigar, that is true. How do we get that?
Being able to have a whole room of culinary and spirits professionals taste and blind taste it, and nearly everybody chose the same product. That was just it was mind-blowing to have that many people and that many palates and stuff in the room, narrow down out of all the thousands of possibilities, nearly the same whiskey, and then all decide on one. It's very cool.
Sustainability Day at Maker's Mark was possibly one of my favorite things. They have an apiary, they're growing mushrooms, they have farm.
It's just really awesome that they're taking care of their land and they're looking forward to the future and not being so present, because global warming is a serious issue and they're trying to get ahead of that.
Chefs want to be farmers and farmers want to be chefs, right? We geek out over each other all the time.
Freedom Run was a beautiful experience.
Somebody in my family is actually also a lamb farmer, so that was probably the event that I was most excited about, because I know that it's really hard work.
Valerie's amazing. She has a beautiful farm. It's massive, it's great. And you immediately feel like you're part of the farm, that you were meant to be there the whole time.
They took us through all the pastures and showed us, the new lambs, and she talked a lot about how what they're doing is different. And then we had the butchery class at Red Hog the next day, so it was the start to finish thing that we got to be a part of.
I noticed at one point one of the mentees was, just kind of struggling. It was her first time butchering, and you could see the self-doubt, and we all were like, "Girl, you're doing great, you've got this."
No, you got it, you're good, you're good, you're good. And we're, just building each other up, versus if that were a male environment, you would be fluffing up. We use our strength not as a shield, but as a shelter. And I felt in community. Sorry.
The program at Stave and Thief Moonshine U for the executive bourbon steward is so awesome. I highly suggest it for anybody who is a whiskey enthusiast, wants to get really, really into the nuts and bolts of how whiskey is made and its significance in the history of the United States.
One of the things Moonshine U gave me is a little bit more confidence with my tasting and nosing right now, because I actually did contract COVID this past year, and I'm one of those people that my sense of smell and taste have been lastingly affected. Really being able to learn to pull out very specific notes and understanding what those are and why those are in there, it's really able to help me narrow down my tasting notes and nosing notes on spirits, which makes me better to sell those to my guests.
The day at Clayton and Croom was delightful. The folks there are really sweet, wonderful people. They have a beautiful facility.
That was my favorite part. I'm not gonna lie to you, the whole week, I mean, it was super, super, super therapeutic for me. We were coloring on it, we were stitching on it. I mean, it was very meticulous. And plus, who else is gonna have those type of aprons like that? I mean, I wore it all day. It didn't matter where we went, I was wearing it.
Monogram totally had our backs today. It was fantastic. The induction burners saved me a lot of time because it was a fast-paced day. Let's start off with that, fast as hell.
I felt like we were on like some like crazy Food Network show the whole time. You're like in this like enclosed dome, and I was like, nothing else around us is real anymore.
That was a big day for sure. It's like really, it's like overstimulation. We break off into our groups, and then like calling us one by one to go do something else. And like, I'm really shy on camera, so like, I'm nervous. I'm like, all right, you can do this, you can do this.
I had a couple ums in there, you know, because of course when you get nervous, you're just like, But I think I did pretty well, and I got my omelet on the plate, so I was happy.
It made it easier for me to not be so nervous. Like, put yourself out there through your food.
It was so fun, but it was also a little nerve-wracking because we were going back and forth doing a TV spot, doing a radio spot, while also crafting cocktails for lunch.
The fact of the camaraderie of all these women coming together and Lee Initiative doing this for us, it's eye-opening to see women feeling liberated in the kitchen. And at the end of it, we were all, yeah, chef, yeah, we did it. It was invigorating. Today was a blast.
Mentees are selected from like all over the place. So I think it was definitely important for us to all get together, physically be there with one another and stand in solidarity and know that like there's friendships amongst us that's gonna help, that's the foundation to help us thrive and to do the things that we're doing.
Always a Lee Initiative. It's in that member. I always have these people to call and message. And so this week, it's been so amazing to see the same people that I didn't even meet yet, but helped me through this year. And we're like, I'm so happy you're here. We're so happy to grow. And I'm really happy this year in the way the program expanded, and the girls that I got to meet and the other mentees this year are so amazing that I couldn't have asked for a better program and where I'm at.
Growing up from the reservation, you kind of feel like you don't have a chance. You feel like you're against the world all the time. All the time. Being an Indigenous woman in a kitchen makes it twice as hard for me, but I put in that work, I put in that time, and just to meet other women just as incredible as that, and Chef Edward Lee to make this possible for us, it's amazing. It's giving me more than I could ever imagine, you know?
The women that were in this program, we're still talking every day. I think we've got like 7 group chats going, so it's really hard to keep them straight, but we're in constant contact. Like, we're sharing our successes and our failures and our insecurities, and it's just a constant support system. Couldn't be like more proud to be working with this initiative and to represent them, but also like grateful for what they've done for me.